What's up, everybody, and welcome back over here to my channel, Pepe's Point of View. And I'm giving you a little bit of P entertainment news. That's right, we got a couple of things that I want to cover today. So let's just jump right on in it, shall we? I want to welcome you, new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. All right. Yes, we're going to be talking about Kenya Moore and Willie Nelson. Will be coming up towards the end of some of the topics that I want to cover. But for right now, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about Drew Carey. That's right, Drew Carey, who is the host of The Price is Right. Well, it looks as if Drew Carey is revealing a couple of secrets, or rather, some secrets or detail about uh, Price is Right contestants. Now, when I first heard about this, you know what, I was a little bit taken aback. After all, it is television, it is a game show, and you would think that these television and these game shows, television shows as well as game shows, will do a little bit more vetting, when it comes to the contestants that they have on the show. However, Drew Carey has revealed that yes, he has noticed that some of the contestants that are come onto the show sometimes are, well, they're a little bit under the influence of something. I should say it that way. Well, I'm getting the information here from Fox 59 News. It says that Drew Carey reveals secrets about Price is Right contestants. Drew Carey knows if you being under the influence when you're coming down to be a contestant on The Price is Right. It says Carey, in an interview with TV Insider, reveals his belief that audience members on The Price is Right frequently show up to the tapings a little bit tipsy, or let's just say on something. Oh, that happens here all the time, Carey stated when he was asked whether or not if he thinks some of the contestants use a little liquid courage before arriving at the show. And once you think about it, it sounds like it actually makes sense because actually you're going on a television show, right? You're going to go on a television show. You're going to think that you're going to possibly be, your name is going to be called, to come down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right, and as you're coming down, you would like to think that you're on something if you think about it. And it's not just the fact that you're excited about being on the show. Sometimes people probably do need to take some things to kind of calm them down. Some people probably need to feel like they need to take something just so they can kind of, put a little pep in their step, if you will. So it does make sense when you actually think about it that there are some contestants that, probably want, if they're down, they want to be up. And if they're up, they want to be down, if you understand what I mean by that. So it's not surprising at all. Um, Kerry went on to say they'll have that they eat, some of those bears, the word, they eat some bears. I'll put it that way. We can't say certain things on YouTube, or I'll smell, some liquid courage on their breath. But he said these things are not unusual. He also said that uh, they noticed that a guy who claimed to be a skateboarding rabbi, uh, they asked him about that guy, and they went on to say he was like, "Oh, I'm a skateboarding rabbi." He didn't think he was going to get picked, and he totally tripped. So there was one contestant who actually tripped, right, when his name was called. So he basically wanted to go on and say that that guy allegedly was on some kind of substance as well. Carey, in an interview, also indicated that he intends to stay with the show for as long as CBS will have him, and perhaps even break Pat Sajak's records for the longest running host of any game show. The contestants, he added, are a big part of why he enjoys the gig and hopes to continue hosting. Regular people are more interesting than celebrities. Honestly, Carey said, they've all had their own problems to overcome in their own demons to get their own special lives. I learn more from them than I do from anybody. Okay. So yeah, once you think about it, at first I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is very juicy, right? Contestants showing up on the show, a little bit under the influence. But again, once you think about it, yeah, you would think that people would take things. I mean, think about it. Maybe it's the contestant first time flying, on the show. Like they're nervous about that, or they could be nervous about being on the show. Now, this is what would really be juicy. If anything would be juicy, it would be juicy if, some of the producers on the show actually gave some of those contestants some things, to kind of put a little pep in their step, or to bring them, off their high horse, so to speak. Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So anyway, it is what it is on that part. So yeah, great game show. Looking forward to Drew Carey being on the show as long as they will have him. Moving right along before we get into Kenya Moore and Willie Nelson. Walgreens will close a significant number of U.S. stores, shutting down many unprofitable locations, according to CNN. Walgreens is said to close a substantial number of its roughly 8,600 locations across the United States as the company looks to reset the struggling pharmaceutical chain's business. The company didn't announce a specific number of store closures, but it said Thursday that it is planning significant closures of underperforming stores across America as part of a multi-year optimization program. Okay, now a multi-year optimization program. Exactly what is that? Well, in business, optimization is the process of improving a strategy or process to increase efficiency, productivity, and profitability. Profitability. Sorry. It can also help reduce costs, improve product quality, and enhance customer satisfaction. Okay, so that's pretty much uh, what they're alluding to when Walgreens is stating that that's what they're going to be doing, is closing down a significant number of stores. So yeah, I'm sorry. Got a lot of things going on over here, you guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, so and when you really and truly think about let's just say Walgreens and Walmart's, every time you turn around, they're building another Walgreens, they're building another Walmart, so on and so forth. People are basically trying to say that we are pretty much in the midst of a recession. The economy is not doing too well, so on and so forth. So it is kind of, it makes you have a raised eyebrow when you see a Walmart is closing or something like a Walgreens is closing, right? The company didn't announce a specific number of stores, as I stated earlier. They have a multi-year optimization program. CEO Tim Whitworth said on a call with Analysis Thursday that changes are imminent for the roughly 25% of stores that aren't profitable, and Walgreens' strategy or is Walgreens' strategic review will include the closure of a significant portions of these underperforming stores. Okay, we are at a point where the current pharmacy model is not sustainable, and the challenges in our operating environment require we approach the market differently. He said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal Thursday. Wentworth said the closures would focus on locations that are unprofitable, to close to each other, or stores struggling with theft. Stores struggling with theft. All right. And again, is that because, sometimes you see these stores now, such as Walgreens, Walmart, they're having a self checkout as well. So maybe, theft is definitely, increasing with Walgreens, especially if they're having their own self checkout. Walgreens revealed few additional details about the closure on the call, but said they would take place over the next 3 years. The company also said it will consider additional closures if performance doesn't improve. The vast majority of employees working at affected stores will be offered jobs elsewhere with work. went on to say. Yeah, so it is what it is. I was about to say something about Walgreens. I don't know about you guys. For me, I choose Walgreens. There's other stores out that I don't get my prescriptions filled at. That's just me personally. Uh, so I prefer Walgreens over Walmart. And I'm trying to think of the other store. I can't think of his name right now. I'm sorry. I just drew a blank. But anyway, uh, yeah. So moving right along. Well, it looks as if the Uvalde school incident that occurred in 2022 that left roughly about 20 or so people unalived, is still, is an ongoing investigation. And it looks like their first ever criminal charges have actually uh, started, they have started the indictment process, okay? So, according to CNN, former Uvalde school police chief officer indicted in the first ever criminal charges over failed responses to the 22 mass shooting. It says here that a grand jury has indicted two former Uvalde school police officers in the botched law enforcement response to the 2020 incident at Robb Elementary School that left 19 children and two teachers unalive. Two Texas state government sources with knowledge of the indictment told CNN Thursday. Former Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo and former school police officer Adrian Gonzalez were named in the indictments, which represent the first criminal charges filed in the school incident. Arredondo surrendered himself to the custody of the Texas Ranger in Uvalde on Thursday. An official with the Texas Department of Public Safety told CNN the former chief was booked on 10 counts of child endangerment and non-criminal negligence, according to the indictment. Arredondo was then released on bond, according to the Uvalde County Jail. Gonzalez was booked into the Uvalde County jail early Friday afternoon. The Uvalde Leader News reported, citing Uvalde County Sheriff's Officer Chief Deputy Brandon McCutcheon. Gonzalez was waiting to be processed. McCutcheon told the paper earlier in the day Gonzalez attorney Nico LaHood told CNN in a statement the former school police officer was planning to self-surrender so the judicial process can move forward. It is very early on in our representation, so we will be working to acquire the evidence the government is relying on in this accusation, LaHood said. Mr. Gonzalez's position is he did not violate school district policy or state law. The application of the statute to law enforcement under these circumstances is unprecedented in the state of Texas. It would take time to evaluate these allegations and the underlying facts, LaHood continued. CNN did reach out to Uvalde County Jail for more information. Now, it's like I said, it's going to be very interesting, I think, as far as the outcome of this, because again, let's just say that these two who received the the indictments that went out to Police Chief Arredondo and the school police officer Adrian Gonzalez. Let's just say, from a textbook standpoint, all of the policies and the procedures that were in place, let's say they actually did follow them. And there was a whole lot of speculations about who should respond and how. Let's just say they actually did what they were supposed to do. It still looks like people still need to make sure that they have policies in place that, yes, this is what we are supposed to do in these situations. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes to certain things, when it dealing with schools and so on and so forth, like they need to they need to go, I'm not going to say over and beyond, but maybe this here is what the state requires us to do. But then again, or the school require us to do, but what does the state law require us to do? What does the federal law require us to do? You see, I sometimes try to find myself on that thin line as well, as a counselor, especially when you have people reporting to you certain things about, let's just say, um, a child or a child's parent, or let's just say a child's safety, so to speak, right? When if you look at these laws, every state has a different law about how you approach certain things. But I always try to make sure that the people, around me and the people who I work with, I always say, I understand that this is what we've done our job if we do this, but this just covers us. But at the end of the day, I also think we need to go over and beyond this. So what would be the next step to make sure, hey, we did what we were supposed to do, and we also went over and beyond what we were supposed to do, and to make sure that children and their parents are safe when it comes to certain incidents that come up be reported. And you have to excuse me because I am definitely trying to choose what I say wisely, simply because this here is YouTube, but not only that, but I'm trying to protect the privacy of certain incidents that have come my way. So that's the reason why it sounds a little choppy as far as like how I'm presenting this. All I'm saying is that each state has a different law required, let's just say, the safety of a child. I'll put it that way, and I think some of you guys kind of read between the lines as far as what I mean by that. Well, it is what it is. Like I said, this is definitely going to play out for some time, I think. But our hearts, and our prayers, and everything goes out to the people affected by that particular incident. Moving right along, we're going to be talking about uh, hey, the Bible and the Ten Commandments, right? According to CNN, Oklahoma State Superintendent announces all schools must incorporate the Bible and the Ten Commandments in their curriculums. Interesting, interesting, especially when we talk about the separation of church and state, right? I know this has always been a hot debate with people when we're talking about the separation of church and state. When I was going to school, we pledged allegiance to the flag. Uh, we didn't necessarily. I didn't see. We wouldn't necessarily, the Bible and the Ten Commandments or whatever was not displayed in the schools. I can't recall that, but I can recall, having a moment of silence was definitely there, and so on and so forth. So when we think about a school in the Ten Commandments, with myself having been a part of education, and then I am a history major, so you have to look at that as well. I have a background in history. And then in education, I kind of see this subject as kind of multi-layered, so to speak, because I can see it needing to be discussed from an educational standpoint, from a historical standpoint, the Bible. I can see that being represented as well, and those things kind of being discussed, so on and so forth. And then when you get into college, and as a history major, you go on and you take these upper classes, sometimes religion, and things like that. We take these classes, so on and so forth. But it looks as if Oklahoma says you don't have it's required. Like every student from the grade 5 all the way up to 12 will actually be taught the Bible and the Ten Commandments, which now we have this bigger discussion that is actually taking place right now, because this here is going to be in the curriculum. All right. So all Oklahoma schools are required to incorporate the Bible and the Ten Commandments in their curriculums. Effective immediately, the state's chief education officer announced in a memorandum Thursday. At a state board of education meeting, Oklahoma State Superintendent of Public Instruction Ryan Walters said the Bible is one of the most fundamental documents used for the Constitution and the birth of our country. It is crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards under the Title 70 on multiple occasions. The Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system, Walter said. Every classroom in the state, grades 5 through 12, must have a Bible, and all teachers must teach from the Bible in the classroom, Walter said. The Oklahoma memorandum follows a law in Louisiana passed June 19th that requires all public classrooms to display the Ten Commandments. A group of Louisiana parents and civil rights organizations are suing the state over the new law, contending the legislation violates both the U.S. Supreme Court precedent and the First Amendment. Oklahoma directive is in alignment with the educational standards approved on or about May 2019, with which all districts must comply, according to a news release. The Bible is an indispensable historical and cultural touchstone, Walter said in the release. Without basic knowledge of it, Oklahoma students are unable to properly contextualize the foundation of our nation. This is not merely an educational directive, but a crucial step in ensuring our students grasp the core values in historical context of our country. Interfaith Alliance, a national organization that seeks to protect religious freedoms, told CNN in a statement Thursday. This is a blatant religious coercion that should have absolutely no place in public schools in Oklahoma or any other state. True religious freedom means ensuring that no one religious group is allowed to impose their viewpoint on all Americans. The vast majority of people of faith in this country reject these dangerous, intimidating efforts to force a Christian nationalist agenda into our schools, our courts, and our government, the statement went on to say. Yeah, as I said, this here goes beyond just having a Bible in the schools. It looks like this goes beyond just having a Bible, let's just say, in the library. Because you have books in the library, students get to choose and go in and check out the books that they want to choose. It goes far beyond that. It's basically saying that every student from grades 5 through 12, the teacher will actually have to do what? Teach the Bible uh, in their curriculums. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, what I think I want to look at this a little bit further, and I'll tell you why. Because we talk about the superintendent, right? And it looks as if this is what the superintendent wants, it also looks as if maybe this is what the school board want, and the majority of the members in the school who attends certain school districts. But now I'm looking at it from the fact of teachers, because now we have teachers who probably, oh gosh, I didn't think about this, who probably feel uncomfortable, because they have a different belief, so on and so forth, or the different religious background. Now I'm also thinking about too, what about applying for uh, work within the school districts in the state of Oklahoma? At this moment in time, is that going to be on the job application, right? How do you feel about teaching, the Bible as a requirement, within your lessons? Oh gosh, yeah, this is going to get really, really deep, really, really fast. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this. And I think I'll probably try to continue to follow this story just to see what occurs. Oh wow, moving right along. So it looks as if we have here, oh, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, it looks as if he's been canceling shows lately. I have not really followed Willie Nelson's career that much, right? But it looks as if it's making the news, and he is canceling shows. It says here, according to USA Today, that Willie Nelson, oh gosh, I'm sorry, Anna. It's coming up. Sorry, you guys. Has been canceling shows, and it's not necessarily saying why. Now, here's another thing that I want to say as I'm trying to get this to come up. Uh, I tend to not favor going to concerts of entertainers who are pretty much high profile. I don't. And I'll tell you why. I am afraid that I'm going to get prepared to want to go to these shows, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, the person cancels. I don't care if I can get my money back. It's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, y'all canceling these shows. Don't do this, to me. I don't want to, sit around and wait until you come back around or try to get my money back. And so that's another reason why I don't try to go to these performers who are very high profile. Willie Nelson pulls out of additional performance on an Outlaw Music Festival tour. It says here Willie Nelson is bowing out of another performance on his ongoing Outlaw Music Festival tour. Nelson, who was scheduled to perform in Virginia Beach, Virginia on Thursday, will not be playing the concert according to a statement shared on Nelson's official Facebook page Wednesday. The reason for Nelson's absence was not disclosed in the statement, but the singer's team said they expect Willie to return to tour shortly. Performers Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and Alison Krauss, and Celeste will perform at Thursday's show, according to the Facebook post. Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson, and the country icons touring band Family will fill in for Nelson during his set. Interesting, and here is a statement from his Facebook page. Willie Nelson will not be performing at tonight's show in Virginia Beach. We expect Willie to return to the tour shortly. Bob Dylan, so on and so forth, will perform as scheduled. Yeah. Nelson canceled his performance of the Outlaw Music Festival tour on Friday for health reasons. A statement shared on his social media page said, "We regret to inform you that Willie Nelson is not feeling well and per doctor's orders has been advised to rest for the next 4 days." The statement said, added that Nelson was expected to make a quick recovery. And if it is health related, we do want him to, make a quick recovery, for sure. But that goes on to say too is that some of these performers, entertainers of a certain age, are performing because they have to. I would like to think that they shouldn't take on so much. Maybe not do so many days. Maybe just do a couple of days out of the week and then rest, so on and so forth. I'm just wondering what the tour schedule looks like for him to have to cancel his tours like this. And like I said, if you're a particular age, I think you might want to try to rest. Moving right along because I'm trying to keep this video at a certain length of time. I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes. But let's move right along to Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore, she's leaving the Real Housewives of Atlanta following a suspension, okay? After debuting on the Real Housewives of Atlanta in season 5, Kenya Moore exiting the show ahead of season 16. So she's been there for for quite some time. It's hard to believe she's been here, been a part of the franchise for that length of time. Kenya Moore is officially out of the Real Housewives of Atlanta after 11 seasons with the show. On Tuesday, ET confirmed that the 53-year-old reality TV show star will not be returning for season 16 following her suspension by Bravo back in early June. Now, that suspension has a whole lot to do with a whole lot of things that maybe one day I will get around to covering. Okay, but it looks as if she is out. She is not returning back. In response, a source tells ET that she decided to part ways with the franchise despite previously expressing interest in returning, declaring that she would not be going anywhere and receiving support from her longtime castmates and friend. Kenya is not returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta this season. She decided it was best for herself to leave after she felt the incident was handled. And how she was treated. So she's looked like she's out of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, that ends my commentary, PE Entertainment News. Again, if you made it this far in my commentary, then I think it's only appropriate for me to ask you to stick around with me, hang out with me, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, leave a comment, and all of that stuff. And remember, Whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember I love you. God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you take care of yourselves. All right, I'm out.